The previous program. We've been talking. After Roswell in 1947. U.S. military recovers alien spaceship that crashed into Roswell, New Mexico. And captured a dying alien gray man. Where's this gray man? It was the alien gray man, Arrow, who later had a psychic exchange with the medic, Mark Arrowy, who had a psychic exchange with the medic, Mark Arrowy. Also EB-10,000 in the military profile. This is EB-10,000. AKA Alien Entity 1. And then? In 1964. Another race of would-be humans traveled through time to our present time. What about this race of greys? It's the future. We're the ones who were mutated by nuclear radiation. I don't know how they were captured. But this is the same alien who was interrogated at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Or maybe it's called Futurama. It's the EB-1S from the military data. That is to say, alien biological entity number 3 is more similar to the previous stories of number 1 and number 3. What about Yvetwo's catch? It has to do with a very famous UFO incident. Then, years later, numerous people who have been involved in the UFO incident, so much so that engineers and scientists who have only been exposed to EB-2 have also stepped up. The Kingman UFO incident and EB-12 uncovered the reason why. What really happened back then? Who the hell is EB-12? And where did it come from? Today we're going to talk about this alien creature corpse number 2 EB-12. It's 5:05 a.m. on May 19, 1953. Yucca Flats, and woke up to a loud explosion. Just seconds after the successful detonation of the nuclear test codenamed Operation No Sol. Where are the military experimenters? I witnessed a saucer-shaped craft flying rapidly from the site of the explosion, heading south toward Las Vegas. And finally, disappearing between the layers of mountains. Just 2 days after the incident, the U.S. government and military secretly assembled 40 engineers and scientists for a top-secret operation. The centerpiece of this mission is that with the assistance of these 40 engineers and scientists, investigating a UFO crash outside of Kingman, Arizona. I see. On May 19th. What about the military? After witnessing the UFO, we've been searching for the object. And found the UFO 175 miles from the nuclear test site. The object has a butterfly oval shape. It's about 30 feet in diameter. It's only 9 meters. With a porthole on top. What does it look like from the outside? It's a shiny silver metal. What about this butterfly? Although it was crashed and stuck in the ground. But what about appearance? It's almost intact. You could even say that. Not a scratch on it. What about when you found it? There are 4 humanoids in the ship. 2 of them suffered minor injuries. The other 2 are intact. What about these humanoids? Very short. It's only about 4 feet tall. It's only about 1.2 meters. What about them? They all have big eyes. And on her body, she wore a silver metallic suit. I've seen it. The military immediately sealed off the scene. At the direction of the senior management, 40 engineers and scientists, in addition to military and government officials, who are outstanding in their respective fields, were urgently mobilized to the site of the incident to assist in the investigation. In retrospect, the main body of the ship was sent to Area 51. What about parts of the ship? They were sent to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And the 4 humanoids? And they were taken to Groom Lake. Actually, it's in Area 51. The secret base called SFOR. So what about the SFOR base? That's the key to Area 51. Because on the face of it, Area 51? It's a secret airbase for development and testing of Air Force vehicles. Actually, the true technological origin of the vehicles tested at the base is due to the reverse research of UFOs at the SFOR base. 1989, Bob Lazar, the famous whistleblower who was in charge of reverse research on flying saucer power systems at Area 51 as a physicist, first publicly revealed the untold secrets of Area 51. What about the other day? Most people don't even know Area 51 exists. What about the US government? You've denied the existence of Area 51 many times. Until August 15, 2013, intervention under the Freedom of Information Act. What about the US government? was eventually forced to release a copy of the US CIA, the secret CIA document from 1992. And in that document, it's clearly labeled Area 51. That's when the uninformed realized, so Area 51 really exists. What's more? And it's been hidden for years. And according to Bob Lazar's story, Area 51 is where UFOs are parked. As of the time he broke the news, it's at the SFOR base at Area 51. I've already parked the DUI UFO. Included among these, then there's this UFO that crashed near Kingman, Alexandria. That's for the Kingman UFO investigation recovery. This secret mission has since been confirmed by several officials. And the most famous of them? It's in Project Blue Book. Raymond Fowler, a regional investigator for the National Aerial Phenomena Investigation Board, published a diary in 1973. What about this diary? He got it when he was working on Project Blue Book. What about this diary? It was written by a man named Arthur Stansel. What about this Arthur? Is a 1949 graduate of the Ohio State University. How about initially? Arthur was employed at White-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. What about him? He's a mechanical engineer at this airbase's material command. What about his job? Mainly responsible for testing the engines of Air Force aircraft, and then? He's been transferred to Nellis AFB in Nevada. What about this diary entry? It was a strange mission that happened to him in May of 1953. Hiccup, where's the diary? Here's the thing. It says May 20th, 1953. Most of the time. Both work at Nellis Air Force Base. I had a beer that evening. Dizzy. Unexpectedly, I received a call from Dr. Earth, the chief test supervisor. He asked me to do a special job the next day. The next day, May 21st. As usual. I worked another full day at the base. At about 4:30 p.m. I was taken to All Indian Air Force Base near the test site. And when you get there? That's what we were told. You need to give all your valuables to the military for safekeeping. What about me? I left my wallet, my watch, my pen, and so on. And in the future? A group of 15 of us were put on a military plane. What about this plane? It's a direct flight to Phoenix. When we get to Phoenix, we found 25 other people. There's a bus waiting for us. What about this bus? It's very strange. What about the windows on this car? It's all blacked out. So when you get in the car, we can't even see out from the inside. So we don't even know where we're going. While the bus was in motion, interjection of surprise, an Air Force colonel told us that there's been a crash of a highly classified Air Force vehicle. And because of that, we're all experts in our fields. That's why we're invited. It's about each of us investigating the crash only from our own professional point of view. That's it, then. Where's our company? It was about a 4-hour bus ride. What about when you get out of the car? From the officers who accompanied him. Interjection of surprise, where are we now? Near Kingman, Arizona. I didn't know until I got back. Interjection of surprise, where's this Kingman? Is located in northwest Phoenix, it's not far from the Nevada test site. After the bus stops, one by one, we got off the bus. Then it was nighttime when we got there. It's pitch black out there. What about the officers? Calling each of our names one by one. What followed? Escort us to the area we need to check. As I walked toward the flying machine, I noticed it was in the shape of a saucer oval. How about the diameter? It's about 30 feet. What about the material of this flying machine? Looks like brushed aluminum. It's got that same metallic glow. What about at the entrance to this craft? There's a porthole down vertically. Apparently this porthole? It's been opened. Inside the craft? There's a light in the background. And in my judgment, this light should have been installed by the military themselves. What's more, it's not far from the craft. There's a tent guarded by a large number of officers and soldiers. Hey! I'm trying. Float inside. What about at a glance? There was a man in a silver metallic costume, a humanoid creature about 4 feet tall, I believe. He's got big eyes. Where's the exposed skin? It's dark brown. What followed? So I did my job. What about my specific job? It is the angle and depth of impact that determines the rate of descent of the vehicle when it falls. And its forward speed. What about the crash? It's the plane that's stuck in the dirt. About 20 inches, that's 0.5 meters. What about the speed of the fall? That's about 20 feet per second. That's 6 meters per second. What about its forward speed? That's about 1,000 knots. That's about 1,150 miles per hour. What about the fall in this case? For a normal airplane. Civilian or military. No doubt about it. It's all going to be severely damaged. Or even just explode. But here's the strange thing. Not only does this craft have no wings, there's no landing gear. But then? And it made no marks or dents. There's not even a scratch. What about the time of the incident? The officer told us it was a military craft. So I didn't even think about the UFO. And I just accepted the fact that it was a secret Air Force operation. After the inspection, where's the military? After interviewing each of us on the tape recorder. And we boarded that bus again. And after that? They never contacted me again. And then? The more I think about it, the weirder it gets. Now think about it. I don't think it belongs to the military, like they said. Maybe even. They're not even Earth's Kojis. Hey! This is the diary of Arthur the engineer. What about getting to the Kingman UFO site? There are 40 engineers and scientists. Interjection of surprise, except for Arthur. Another metallurgist named Leonard Stringfield. Where's the material scientist? In his old age, too. What about the UFO incident that was reported? What about this Leonard? One of the 40. He was there the same day. What about his mission? It is responsible for analyzing the materials of the vehicle. He's there. It took about 2 days of research. And finally? Leonard said it straight. This is the guy who's not even from Earth. Because this material, with Earth's technology, it's impossible to build. You the only one. And I'm not the one. Only former U.S. Air Force pilot Bill Yuhas. What about him? He was in charge of testing the newest Bing vehicle. This Bill Younghusband's identity. It's been confirmed by multiple sources. That was in the mid-1960s. Where's this Bill? He was transferred to Area 51. More specifically, it's an SQ base in Area 51. What about the mission he was transferred to? Well, actually, it's secret research and testing of flying machines. That means he's been asked to simulate an alien flying saucer by studying it. And create a cottage flying saucer. What's the point of building this simulated flying saucer? It's the simulated flying saucer that Bill Yuhas is using to train military pilots on how to properly maneuver a flying saucer. And what about this flying machine for him to work on? That's the same ship that Kingman crashed on. And assisting him in the reverse study of flying saucer simulations was an alien gray man named Grodd. That's according to Bill Yuhas. Where's this gray man called Gross? One of the 4 grays who survived the Kingman UFO incident. What about this Bill Younghusband? And a special hand-drawn portrait of Grodd? That's what it looks like. What about him? That's the legendary 1:1 rabbit. That's according to his story. Where are the grays? It's actually from the Zeta Mesh galaxy. Though what about the gray man currently appearing on Earth? They're all from over there. But there are different races of grays. What about Bill's revelations? Gross a little guy, maybe. In about 4 feet. It's only about 1.2 meters. About the height of a 6 or 7-year-old. And your eyes are huge. And he's wearing a silver metallic uniform. This Jero's here to help him with his work. So? It's inevitable. You need to talk to him a lot. What about communication between the two of them? Not through any language, you don't say it with your mouth. It's when you have questions for him. You can just ask in your head. And then Jeros will communicate through something like a spirit. What about the answer? It's right in your head. What about this blooper video from Bill Yuhas? Recorded in 1994. What about the recording? Bill is 71 years old. But it wasn't until 2007 that. What about this blooper video? It's only now that it's finally been made public. Because Bill Yuha said so. Where were they? It's all under a non-disclosure agreement. He signed this non-disclosure agreement. It expired in 2003. And in 2007. Bill is 84 years old. What did he say? He doesn't want to take the biggest secret of his life to the cemetery. So? And after a fierce battle of ideas? Still decided to make the video public, and in the end? 2 years after the explosive video was made public, that's all. In 2009. Bill Yohas has died. Of an unmarried couple, be close. What about this one? It's the Kingman UFO crash. There's also something about Ippy Bunny. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.